Hello FPL managers, today we go over the price reveals for the new Premier League season in part 2. In today's video we discuss the final 10 teams price reveals, as well as looking at the best options that we think could be worth targeting for the new Premier League season. Leave a like and subscribe as we try and hit 8k subs by the start of the new Premier League season, and also click the notification bell to not miss any future uploads, and let's get into the video. So taking a look at the first team on the list, it is Chelsea. In goals, Edouard Mendy is coming in at £5 million, which looks to be an excellent price for him and a decent way to get into that Chelsea defence for fairly cheap. For the sub-keeper, we have got Kepa there sitting at £4.5 million. Looking towards their defenders now, the main highlights are Reece James and Ben Chilwell, who are both at just £6.0 million. I was expecting at least one of them to be 6.5, but I do think both of those guys are good value. Otherwise, Mason Mount is probably a little bit too pricey at $8 million, and in the forward line they've got Kai Havertz and Timo Werner positioned as forwards this season, both at £8 million. Taking a look over at the second team, it is West Ham. We predict Lukas Fabianski to be coming in at £5 million, considering that a couple of the other goalkeepers are sitting at this price. He's probably a little bit too good to be sitting at 4.5 though. In the defence, the new signing Agüero is coming in at £5 million, and Vladimir Sufa looks to be nice at just £500,000 cheaper at 4.5. And Aaron Cresswell, of course, is always the reliable points getter in that West Ham defence at £5 million. The big one in midfield in Jared Bowen is that he is now £8.5 million, which is probably £500,000 more expensive than I was expecting him to be, as his expected stats weren't quite as good as his total output last season. Said Benrahma looks to be the other decent player in there at £6 million, and Mikel Antonio is sitting at £7.5 million in the forward line. Taking a look over at Newcastle now, their players look to be fairly decent picks for the new season, starting off with Nick Pope in goals. At just £5 million, he could be a good route into that Newcastle defence, as I'll be interested to see how they get on this season with, of course, their newly upgraded team. Looking towards their defensive assets now, Dan Burn and Shah look to be £4.5 million each, with the fullbacks in Target and Trippier sitting at £5 million. Both Target and Trippier look to be solid options coming into the new FPL season, as we know that they've got good return potential at both ends of the pitch. Alan St-Maximin is a midfielder at £6.5 million this year, which probably makes him a little bit more appealing, and Bruno Guimaraes sits at £6 million, which is maybe £500,000 too expensive. Looking to the forwards now, their strike pair of Wilson and Chris Wood sit at £7.5 and £6 million respectively. Callum Wilson is probably the better of the two that I'll be looking at. Now taking a glance over at Southampton, their new goalkeeper in Gavin Bazunu is sitting at £4.5 million and could be the starting option between him and Alex McCarthy. Looking towards the defenders now, most of their options are sitting at £4.5 million. The ones that I like the most are Kyle Walker-Peters and Romain Perraud, both playing at fullback. To the midfielders now, James Ward-Prowse is coming in at £6.5 million, as is Shea Adams in the forward line. Moving on to Bournemouth now, their goalkeeper Mark Travers is coming in at £4.5 million, as is their three defenders. The main one here in defence is Ryan Fredericks from West Ham at £4.5 million, as I'm assuming he's going to be playing in a fullback role. To the midfielders now, Philip Billing and David Brooks are probably the highlights at £5.5 million each, and Dominic Solanke leads the forward line at £6 million. This is £500,000 cheaper than Alexander Mitrovic, and after scoring quite a few goals in the EFL last season, he could definitely be looking like the best forward option from the Championship. Now looking towards the much anticipated Tottenham Hotspur, their goalkeeper Hugo Lloris is coming in at £5.5 million, which is probably a little bit pricey. Considering that Mendy does come in at £5 million, I do think Lloris is a bit on the expensive side, but their defenders do provide good value. Speaking of, Eric Dyer, Matt Doherty and Christian Romero all come in at £5 million each, with the new signing Ivan Perisic at £5.5 million looking to be excellent value. He will most likely be playing in a wing-back role for Tottenham, which of course increases his attacking potential, so I do believe at this price, with Spurs' solid defensive record under Conte, he's going to be an excellent pick in defence. Looking towards their midfielders now, the big one here is Heung-min Son, who is now priced at £12 million and is the second most expensive player in FPL. This price rise was probably fair enough, but I do think it's going to put a lot of FPL managers off getting him for the first couple of game weeks. The other main Spurs midfielder to look out for is Dejan Kulusevski, Kulusevski, who's coming in £8 million, which is probably £500,000 too expensive, especially with the signing of Richarlison. And to the forwards now, Harry Kane is coming in at £11.5 million, which I believe is a reasonable price for him, and could potentially be a better FPL asset this year than Heung-min Son, as his expected stats were actually higher. Taking a glance at the Leicester City assets now, Kasper Schmeichel comes in at £5 million, looks to be a decent value pick there because of his good save potential. But the defenders for Leicester do provide even more value, with Wesley Fofana, James Justin and Ricardo Pereira all coming in at 4.5. The highlight here for me is Ricardo Pereira due to his excellent attacking potential. If he can stay fit throughout the season, there's no doubt he's going to be an excellent FPL asset, as he provides good points opportunities at both ends of the pitch. In the midfield for Leicester, Maddison comes in at £8 million and Harvey Barnes at £1 million cheaper probably looks to be the better value option. And up top, Jamie Vardy has seen a big price decrease down to £9.5 million, which definitely does make him more usable in FPL. Progressing on to Crystal Palace, in goals, Vicente Guaita comes in at £4.5 million, and there's another goalkeeper at that price that could be good value across the season. Amongst the defenders now, Tyrick Mitchell looks to be the heart of that defence at £4.5 million, as well as Mark Guay here, as I'm sure both of them are going to be getting very consistent minutes across the season and are both good value. In the midfield, Eberechi Eze and Wilfried Zaha look to be the main highlights there at £5.5 million and £7 million respectively. I do think especially Zaha at this price is excellent value, as he had a very strong end to last season. And predicting their forwards now, Hudson-Odoi and Mateta are both coming in at £5.5 million, so all round in that Crystal Palace attack there is definitely plenty of value to be found. So now taking a look at the final team in Everton. Starting off with Jordan Pickford, he is coming in at £4.5 million, and there's another goalkeeper that could be worth going for at that price tag. Obviously, Everton's defence wasn't the strongest last season, but Jordan Pickford does make a lot of saves. Looking towards the Everton defenders now, it looks like you'll be easily able to get into the Everton defence at $4.5 million, as all of Coleman, Tarkowski and Mikolenko are at 4.5. Looking at the midfielders now, Demarai Gray comes in at £5.5 million and is probably the pick of the bunch in there, as well as Anthony Gordon at $5.5 million, as he impressed late last year. And in the forward line, it is Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming in at £8 million, which I believe is one of the worst prices coming into FPL this season. He's probably a little bit overpriced considering that he hardly played many games last season, so I would be avoiding him. Thanks for watching today's price reveals for the new FPL season in part 2. If you guys want to become a channel member, then click the join button down below and get featured on our members board at the end of the videos, just like Philip Ash here. Also leave a like and subscribe to show support for the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.